Hey, my preciouses. Cookie Kelly here. Um, Pamela, I appreciate you asking how my honey bunny is. Um, my honey bunny started drinking about 3 months ago again. I don't know what stressed him out and made him start drinking again. Um, but I kept telling him, we're going back to where you came from. We don't need to do that, okay? This is not good for you. But anyway, he was the one that wanted to call an ambulance and all that good stuff. Well, the boys came up yesterday to visit him. And with all of us there, we overstimulated him. They called me at 1 o'clock in the morning and said they had to put him back on the oxygen and the BiPAP full face. Because, well, first she called me and said we have to put him in restraints. And I said, oh, shit. And I said, I think he got overstimulated yesterday because his boys came to see him. And, you know, I think he was just overstimulated. And she said, yeah, I think you're right on that. And then so, I don't even know where to start. She said, he even kicked me. I said, oh my God, I am so sorry, but that is not normally who he is. And she said, oh, I know, I met him before he went into the real serious withdrawals, okay? I mean, we're talking serious withdrawals. She called me about 15 minutes ago. And she said, hi, Miss Kelly. And I said, yeah, Miss Kelly. And then she said, I want to talk to you about Stephen. And I said, yes. And she said, well, his breathing is not doing so good. His lungs are not doing so good. And I had talked to Crystal at 5 o'clock in the morning. It was almost 5. It was 4:20. Because I called to ask and see how he was doing. And she said, well, we finally got him sedated. He is fully asleep. But I'm worried about his breathing and aspirating. And I said, are you going to have to intubate him? And she said, we might have to. And I said, well, with what he's going through right now, and I'm fully expecting it, okay? And she said, okay. And I said, do whatever y'all can to save my honey bunny, okay? If it means you intubating him and putting him in a coma, or induced coma, then you need to do that, okay? And so she called and said, okay, I appreciate you giving me that, because most people don't, want their family members. And I said, well, I'm telling you right now, he's going through some stuff, and I know I've seen that withdrawal before. But last time they just, from the beginning, they put him in a coma because he was so bad because he drank vodka, And I said, and wine ain't no better either. And she said, I'm really, I appreciate that you understand that. And I said, I do, And so she said, okay, well, I'll keep you informed. Well, about 10-15 minutes ago, another nurse called me. And she's the morning nurse. Crystal was the night nurse. And apparently Missy's off. But anyway, she said his x-ray of his lungs don't look really good. And It's part of the pancreatitis because he's got pancreatitis as well, okay? That is caused from drinking, okay? He doesn't have cancer in it. It's just, the drinking's done a number on him. So I said, do whatever you need to do. I said, I talked to Crystal last night, and then, 4:20 this morning, at 1:30 in the morning, and then 4:20 I called her. And I said, I know the incubation is on the table. I know that, and I just want him to come through this as easy as possible. So, because so far it hasn't been very easy for him. He hasn't been to sleep in 3 days. And I know he was agitated, and well, he was overstimulated, not agitated. He was overstimulated with so many visitors yesterday, and it wasn't any of their fault. It is the alcoholic disease. Okay? So, she said, Miss Kelly, we think we're going to have to incubate him. I said, okay, do what you need to do, but save him. And I have a question. You are going to have him under before you stick that tube down his throat, aren't you? And she said, oh, yeah. He's already under. We're going to put him in a medically induced coma. And I said, okay, he's been there before, done that. And she said, because he is really getting really bad and he's having issue with his breathing. And I said, yeah, okay, I kind of knew this was coming. So you do what you need to do, but save him. Okay, you need to save his life. Sorry. He is my world. And this is really hard, but I need you to save him. Do whatever you can, okay? And she said, we will. So I said, okay. And so I got up early this morning. I just stayed awake. Sorry, y'all. I just stayed awake and was cleaning out my pantries, cleaning out my bathroom drawers, clean out the freezer, because I don't know what to do with myself, okay? So I said, well, maybe it will help to talk about it, and I can do my makeup and talk. Okay, so here I am. I'm doing Temu, W7, TJ Maxx, CoverGirl, Maybelline, the Dollar Tree. I think this is actually Dollar Tree too, so I'm just all over the place, okay? I just picked stuff out. I wasn't aiming for what I really wanted to put on. I just picked something out because I know I'm having some issues right now, y'all. And it's Thanksgiving. So please do me a favor and ask our Lord to help my honey bunny through this and save him for me. Save him for himself and his kids. Because I know Alex is having a hard time with this. Robert's having a hard time with this. I'm having a hard time with this. His best friend is having a hard time with this. And I don't want to call his best friend on Thanksgiving and tell him that he's on an incubator. So I'll wait to do that. And I usually decorate for Christmas on Thanksgiving night. I don't know what I'm going to do right now. I'm just in a bit of shock. And Mama and Ruru knew something was wrong with him, especially Mona. She senses that stuff, but here we are, okay. So I don't don't mean to upset anybody. Okay. So let's just get into this, okay? I mean, I've been through this before, but he wasn't on an incubator. Okay, this is the first time, and his lungs are having major issues. There is some damage to his lungs, and his pancreas. And, my mother-in-law, my best friend, my son's dad. She was my best friend. She was the one that told me to leave Joe, her son. She didn't want her grandson to be in that kind of life no more. And she had called my older sister Wanda and told her, is it okay if Wanda Kelly comes to stay with you? Which was, I guess, a blessing in disguise for Wanda and me. Because that's, you know, Wanda was at her worst. And when I came, she even told me, you know, when you came home from Ohio, I started to live again. But anyway, she died from pancreatitis, okay? They had to take her pancreas out because it was cancerous. They told her she had anywhere from 3 to 6 months to live. She lived a year to the day because she said, I am not finished what I need to do. I need to make sure that Kelly and my grandbaby are taken care of. And I remember when she told me, y'all, I slapped her. I said, Barb, that's not funny. That's not a funny joke. Well, she wasn't fucking around. She was trying to tell me. But anyway, y'all, I'm a bit terrified now. I'm going to use this. I don't even know, y'all. I may not show you what I'm using because, I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay? I don't know what I'm doing. But, it helps. I think it's helping me to have somebody to talk to. Because right now I feel like I'm alone. I don't want to fuck anybody's Thanksgiving up. And I love you guys. And Pamela, thank you so much for asking about him. Thank you. You don't know how that made me feel. That made me feel so good. Because I know that you care. Okay, I know that. And it makes me feel blessed. Okay. Yeah. And I appreciate that so much. You don't know how much that means to me for you to say that. I'm trying to process this, but I mean, if you ever had somebody go through this, you know. You know the confusion. You know how alone you can feel. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't want to bug my best friend, but she knew he was in the hospital and she hasn't called to check up on him or me. And I don't want to bug her about that. You know what I mean? And I think y'all are my best friends. I think y'all are my best friends, and it means a lot to me that y'all comment on what I say, because I know you're listening. Damn, my nose is getting red, isn't it? I know you're listening. I don't know if that's from my BiPAP. Yeah, it looks like it is. I know you're really listening, and if you lost somebody, or has, God forbid, I can't lose him. So that's off the table. That is off the table, okay? But if you've been through something like this, you know how it makes you feel when you're alone. And the first time that he went through this, he didn't have lung issues. He didn't have his pancreas damaged. It was during COVID, okay? It was during COVID, and they wouldn't let anybody else in the hospital except for one person a day. And that person could come as many as times as they wanted, but only that one person. And thank God he was under. He didn't know, but the nurse said he could hear me. So, just talk to him and tell him what's going on in your life and what's going on in his, and tell him to fight. So I did, but that one day, Alex went up there to see him, and he seen him for about 20 minutes, and that was it. And I couldn't go back up there, because COVID, and that's what their rule was. So, and he didn't know that. So what else was he supposed to do, So, he found out that later, and he was upset. Oh my God, I didn't know, Kelly, I didn't know. And I said, I know you didn't. I didn't know either. Okay, so you need to calm down. This is okay. We deal with it. This is how we go. It was a good thing that he was under, okay? It was a good thing that he was under, and he wasn't away, and there was somebody there, because he was in ICU, to talk to. But y'all, there's a nurse one-on-one with him up there in his room 24/7 now. And if he's put under, because this is all going on because his body is reacting to the withdrawal syndrome, okay? And it can cause seizures and all that kind of stuff. So that's why they want to put him on that. The oxygen, and his lungs hopefully will come back from that, okay? They will come back from that, because that's what is affecting him right now, is that. So, pray for him to get through this, and he will never drink after this again. I tell you what, never, never. So, anyway, that is where I am right now. And I just want to say thank y'all for being there with me and helping me through this. And I appreciate and I love you for that. I love you for being a part of my life and wanting to be there for a part of my life. You don't know how special you are. And you are truly special for wanting to be a part of my life. And that makes me feel special. Just because you want to be a part of my life, that's a big deal. Okay, that is a big deal. I'm using this primer. It is pink from CoverGirl. It is color correcting serum, moisturizer, and a primer all in one. So yeah. But oh my on my nose and see what it does. But anyway, I'm sorry if I made any of you cry. I really am. I didn't mean to make you cry. I didn't mean to cry. But honestly, this is the first time I have cried because I don't want to cry in front of him because I knew it would upset him because he doesn't like to see me cry. Because, you know, he knows I'm strong, but he knows at the point that I cry that I'm very vulnerable. And he doesn't want me to be vulnerable because he knows I'm tough. He knows I'm strong. But right now, I'm pretty much at my weakest. Okay? And I want to say that I so appreciate you being here for me for this. And y'all asking about how he's doing, how I'm doing. Because that really means a lot, okay? That means you're asking because you care, okay? And that touches my heart and soul to no end, okay? To no end. It makes me... It makes my heart full, okay? You're making my heart full. And I want to hug you so hard right now because you're helping me, okay? I know I'm going to get through this. I know he's going to get through it. But right now, watching him go through that, and he begged me, y'all, yesterday. He begged me because he was awake. He just went downhill last night after I left. And he asked the nurse, "Where's Kelly? Where's my baby?" Because he calls me his baby. "Where's my baby? She's at home. She needs to rest because she's exhausted." And he said, "Well, call her." And he said, she said, "We need to let her rest too because she's up here taking care of you." And that's when he got angry. And that's when the third wave of the withdrawal kicked in. And so, yeah. So, I mean, yeah. The last time he didn't have to go through any of this with the withdrawal, but he also wasn't put on a ventilator. So, yeah. But I've seen Kimmy she knows people that get on ventilators and all that kind of stuff. And that's her profession. That's what she does. She is a specialist in that. And I'm half afraid to call her. I'm serious. I'm half afraid to call her. What's she gonna say? You know? But I think at some point I'm gonna have to. And let her know. Because she is also one of his best friends. You know? And she needs to know. I think that's why I haven't called her. Is because of that. So, yeah. But eventually I will. I just don't know when. And I don't want her to be upset because I didn't call her right away. But I need this time for myself to deal with this. Okay? And I know I'm not going to deal with it. Oh my gosh, but here I am. with y'all. And I appreciate that so much. Yeah. This is just a little crazy. Okay, I'm going to use this. It's a Face and Body Illuminator Rose Gleam. And it's from the Dollar Tree for $1.25. Y'all, I tested this. This is amazing. Look at the color of it. See, I hope that we could use this for a brightener. And, oh my gosh, it's working as a brightener. Look at that. Okay, this is a body glow. But I don't use the glow on my body. I don't need the glow on my body. I need this glowing look on my face because that's where I look like I need to moisturize. Oh, that's really pretty. Y'all, that's a damn Dollar Tree. $1.25. Isn't that something? That's just something. It's so burnt down, you can still see my BiPAP lines. Y'all, this is amazing. From Ioni. I love Ioni stuff. But this is Face and Body Illuminizer Rose Gleam. And here it is. This is a new product, I think, from them. But, yeah, I love it. It is gorgeous. And I also love the Maybelline skin tint stuff. Y'all, it's got some coverage, the Maybelline. Look at this. Okay. Excuse me. I'll put this in here. Okay, I think I'm going to put this in with my skin tints too. It gives this a beautiful glow. Oh. Yeah, anyway, so I'm going to use my W7 Bronze Brilliance. And y'all know which color I'm going for. Y'all just know it, okay? Y'all know me. I'm going for this darkest color. Y'all, this is pretty damn pigmented too. Look at this. I hope it don't have heartburn. Oh no, I just didn't put it up on the brush. Anyway. So yeah, Kelly's a bit kooky today. And not in a good way. So anyway, but we're going to get through this. You know, life has challenges. Shit happens for a reason. And his reason is he needs to know that he can't even take a sip of something, you know, because his body reacts horribly. He lost his brother to this. And when his brother was told, you need to quit drinking and get, you know, and live a halfway decent life. And his brother said no. Left, never went back to the doctors. And he actually drank himself to death. His brother was his best friend. His brother told him some things that, about his child life that Honey Bunny could not forgive. Not about his mom, or not about his brother. It's stuff that his brother had gone through. And Honey Bunny was devastated, to say the least. But, yeah. Oops. A little too much right there, but we'll fix it with that. But, yeah, shit was I don't know, y'all. Things happened. Bad things happened. And then back in our day when we were kids, this that kind of stuff was hidden. I mean, he wasn't sexually molested or nothing like that, y'all. The sexual molestation was hidden in my family too. But it wasn't, that's not what was going on in his. And I really don't want to talk about that because, you know, that's his thing. And he's going to see a psychologist up there because I said he can't find the right one. He's been through 3 or 4 and they're not what he needs. He needs somebody else. And not that kind of shit. You know, he's not happy. He's not happy what they say or what they do. And they're not helping him in any way. And he needs to be helped. So he needs to find, I think, a woman. Because a woman, in my opinion, is more compassionate than a man is. And I'm not saying that to hurt any kind of man like that, okay? It's just, women are more emotional. You know that. We are made that way on purpose to raise children, okay? Y'all, I got this from TJ Maxx. Look at those colors. Ooh, and this one's kind of orangey looking. Let me show you. It's not showing up. See that orangey looking? Let's see if it shows up. Y'all look at this right here. See it? Oh my gosh. And y'all know I don't like the norm. I think I want to go into this darkest one first. Ooh, it's not really dark. It's not colors that I would usually use, but I thought, ooh, I kind of like that with that orange, so I'm going to try it. Ooh, y'all, that is pretty. If I had my brush angled right. Oh my gosh. Y'all look at that. Oh, that is absolutely gorgeous. Now I'm going to go in with this orange looking color because y'all know me. Oh my gosh. And I'm going to put it right here. Oh, look at the color it made mixing with that one. See this one? And see this one? Oh my gosh. I just want to put it on the apple of my cheek. Damn, y'all, that's pretty. Okay, we're going to have to put some of this color. The powder. I sucked in the powder of the blush. Blech. So I think he'll come out of this with COPD. I mean, I have COPD from chronic bronchitis. So, yeah. So I know what it is, and I know, you know, what to do. That's the reason why I have to wear a BiPAP at night, is because of that. Is because chronic bronchitis made onset asthma, and the asthma made it COPD. Because so if you ever get bronchitis, don't mess around with it. Go in and tell your doctor you have bronchitis. It needs to be treated now because y'all, asthma sucks. So does chronic bronchitis or chronic COPD or whatever the hell you want to call it. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm going to get, I think this is my favorite color because it's a metallic green. But I got this from Temu. I'm going to put it right here because it's almost the color of that green. But I want to give it a little more oomph. You know what I mean? Yeah. Put some under here and under here. I don't know why I can't do under this eye like I do this one. It's just easier. And I'm gonna put some right there and right there. Make this one a little darker. So yeah, my little tiny bit twist out, okay. And now, mascaras. I had my legs crossed. Where the hell are my mascaras now? Y'all don't know what I did with my mascaras. I've been moving shit around. Let me see you in the stores. Where are you, maskies? That's crazy. I lose everything. Here it is. Okay. Normally would not put single eyeshadows and mascaras together. So that kind of tells you what kind of frame of mind I'm in. Crazy one. Okay, I'm gonna use this It Cosmetics. It's called Superhero It. Y'all, I love this stuff. It is gorgeous. Let's see what we can get it on here without making a total mess all over my eye. Y'all, look how this goes on. And my eyelashes are freaking blonde. See, look, you can't even see them right there. See them? I have eyelashes, y'all. I promise. Look. I promise. Oh, look at that string. Is that a string of hair? No, it's a string of a hair. That was a hair in there. Huh. What? See, I have eyelashes. They're just super blonde. Which, I don't understand that. Most people have dark eyelashes. Why don't I? You know? All my other siblings do, but they also have dark hair. A little darker. Wanda's was almost black, almost. James's is a light brown. Teresa's is a light brown. Erin's is kind of like mine. But her dad is different from ours. But, you know, she is my full-blood sister. I don't care. That's just a technicality. I remember when we were young, y'all, we used to tease her about her not being our real sister. And then one day we were all at my Aunt Mary Jane's house and they were talking. And my Aunt Mary Jane said, I don't know why she said that either. That don't make no sense. But she said, do the kids know that Erin is their half-sister? And Erin was there, y'all. And she started crying, and I ran and picked her up, and Wanda pointed to outside, and we all ran outside, and we told her, Erin, that's a lie. You are our real sister. We were only teasing you. And she didn't find out, y'all, until she was grown that she was our half-sister. She's not my half-sister. What the hell does that mean? Half. She's half a sister? No, she's my full-blood whole sister. She's a whole sister. She's my sister. Okay? She's not half a girl, half a sister. She's my damn sister. What the hell? But anyway, I just thought that was the stupidest thing ever. And y'all, we were tripping out because we said those things to her. And she heard what my Aunt Mary Jane said. Mom said, she's not their half sister. That's their sister. But we know, because me and Aaron look alike, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes. My dad, Jimmy, had blue eyes too, so did my granddad. My granddad was a rarity. He was my grandmother's full-blood Indian, and I think my granddaddy was half, which made my dad half, because my granny was full-blood. But yeah, that was a horrible life being with my grandma. She hated everybody but Wanda, and Wanda always felt guilty about that. And I said, why? Why do you feel guilty? You shouldn't feel guilty. You didn't do anything wrong. You were the one that protected us and lied and said, no, it was me. You know? Because I remember one time, Teresa locked the door to our babysitter so we wouldn't have to go back in the house because she wanted us to go in and go to bed at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're kids, you know. What the fuck? We don't take naps anymore. We're kids. But Teresa, or Wanda, it was Wanda. Wanda locked the door so we couldn't get in. She couldn't get in. Elvira couldn't get in. And my aunt, or my Elvira told my grandmother that Teresa did it. And then, because she only knew Teresa's name. For some reason, she could only remember Teresa's name. And my Wanda said, no, she didn't. I did it. Because my grandmother, when she heard Teresa did it, she just slapped the shit out of Teresa. And then Granny said, no, she didn't. I did it. And then Granny didn't apologize for slapping the shit out of Teresa. And she just didn't like us. She liked Wanda because Wanda looked like the grandbaby Mary Louise Whitten that my grandmother couldn't see because of Daddy's bullshit. He got people pregnant and just looked or left and cheated. And I found out that my mom he cheated. He never married Mary Louise Whitten's mom, but he was with her and they had 2 kids, okay? A boy and a girl. And we have half siblings that are older than us. And we have half siblings that are younger than us. So anyway, he was married my mom because he really did love my mom, but he was a bastard. He was a drinker. He was an abuser. He abused her. And she was scared of him. My mom was scared of my dad and until us. And then she said he thought she could take him abusing her. But it looked like he was fixing to start abusing us, and he was yelling at us all the time. And she said, fuck that shit. And she waited till he went to the bar because she knew he'd be there until they closed. And she got us and got the fuck out. You know, she saved us. But my dad I found out where we were and found out that he was dating, our mama was, this was years later, because my mom just don't go from man to man. She's only ever been with two different men, my dad and her last husband, Kelly, like my name. And she was with Kelly for over 20 years, y'all. I think something like 25, maybe 22 to 25 years, but those are only ever two men she's ever been with her entire life. And my dad was a womanizing player, woman abuser. He was physically and mentally abusive. And she said she ain't putting up with that shit with her babies. She ain't nobody hurting her babies. We're her babies. She was raising us. But a couple of years later, he found out that she was dating somebody, and it was serious. Mama got pregnant by him, and Aaron, there our baby sister Aaron was. So he stole us, y'all. He stole us from my mom when she was at work, and came and got us from our great grandmother on my mom's side. And she let us go. She just, here you go. And then she took us, and my granddad took us, or my dad took us and took us to my grandmother's, and just left us there. And she liked no one but Wanda, so she was fucking mean to us. At our birthday, she would buy Wanda a birthday present, but not give us anything. So Wanda would, and it usually was coloring books and colors, and Wanda would tear the coloring books in half so we could all have one. Okay, all have one of the coloring books. And the crayons we would all share. But my grandmother, she did not like anybody but Wanda. And then she got sick, and I couldn't forgive her. I couldn't forgive her because the trauma and the stress that she put on Wanda because of the way she treated the rest of us wasn't fair. That wasn't fair to Wanda, It wasn't fair to us the way she treated us, but she put a lot of stress and trauma on Wanda because the way that she treated us, and it wasn't fair to Wanda either. And so I had talked with Wanda about that one day because she felt guilty, and I said, Wanda, why the fuck would you feel guilty? She said, because it wasn't fair. I said, Wanda, it wasn't fair to you either that she did shit like that, because I know you felt guilty because you gave us your birthday presents and the presents she would give you on our birthdays and not get us. I knew what it did to you because you would split your coloring books in all different things so all of us could have a fucking coloring book and share your crayons. I knew you knew how it felt. You could have said, fuck them, but you didn't. You always played the part as our protector, okay? So there's no reason for you to feel guilty. And she started crying, and she said, I never thought of it that way, Kelly. I never thought of it. I said, you don't ever think of it that way, Wanda, because you lived through it, You thought she loved me, but she didn't love them. But she didn't truly love you either. I said, you look like Mary Louise Whitten, okay? And she couldn't see Mary Louise Whitten, and Mary Louise Whitten was her first grandbaby. She couldn't see her, and you look just like her, okay? So, if she truly loved you, she wouldn't have made you the sacrifice, because you were the sacrifice. You were the one that saw that it was wrong what she was doing. You had to take that in yourself, and you felt guilty, and you should have never felt guilty. You should have felt pride because you protected us, okay? So she, oh my God, I never thought of it that way, Kelly. And I said, I know you didn't, Wanda. I knew you lived with that, and you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have had to live with that because I know you were our protector. Everything that you got, you shared, okay? I know that. I mean, Wanda would get the eggs and bacon and sausage and stuff, and we would get oatmeal. But Wanda would say, Granny, I'm going to go sit out by the chickens and eat my breakfast so I can make sure the kitty don't get them. Could you make me 3 fried eggs, and I want 6 pieces of bacon and 4 pieces of toast? And she did that because Wanda would go out and we'd meet her by the chicken coop and she'd share all that with us. Okay? That's who Wanda was. Okay? And I told her that. I said, remember that? And she goes, oh my God. I said, Wanda, think about that, what you were doing at that time when you could have simply sat with Granny and eat your breakfast and not, shared it with us. Why do you feel guilty about that? And she goes, because I never thought of it that way. I never thought of it that way, Kelly. And I said, and you should have been, because you were the one that was including us. Not Granny, you were. Not Daddy. Daddy didn't put a stop to that. Daddy let her treat us like that. The only one that didn't let us treat her like that was Grandpa. It would piss him off. And she'd say, he'd say to her, Sybil Penny, you have other grandchildren besides just one. And that is not fair to Wanda Jean, Kelly Lynn, Teresa Louise, or James Eugene, or that baby there, Aaron Denise. That is not fair to any of them, okay? Your son made her stop seeing that man for his own selfish fucking pride. His own selfish pride. Now that baby is in Jimmy's name because he's fucking selfish. You do not treat them grandchildren like that. They are your grandbabies. So Grandpa got pissed. He took us because Granny was an alcoholic too. And Daddy got that alcoholism from her. But anyway, y'all, pray for me and my peace. And pray for my honey bunny that he comes through this extremely fast and lives a good, healthy life from now on, because I don't want him to, I need him. He's my everything. I need him. Okay. I love you guys. And thank you for being there for me. Baby hair. When I was born, I was bald. Why the hell is this hair? Huh? Why is this hair? That's not baby hair. I call it crazy hair. But anyway, y'all, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. And I'm sorry if I set you off in any way. This is a trigger warning, and I will put that on the title. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And share my channel. And I thank you and love each and every one of you. Kooky Kelly out.